Good morning, everybody. Orin J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we're going to do a preview video for all of the new and upgraded stuff we are getting with tomorrow's patch. We've got the first round of Full Metal Alchemist coming in, as well as a couple 140s for some of our older Warrior of the Crystal units. Two of the units, in fact, that don't get a lot of play in Global, they're going to start getting some now with this upgrade, especially if you already have them built. I think throwing an antler at them could be worth doing. Let's talk about it right now. So first, let's start with the FMA collab. We are getting the brothers Edward and Al coming our way. Edward is a free unit, and free in quotation marks, right? Like, you're still going to have to build him. It will probably cost you some Visior. He's a good free unit. Remember, this collaboration will run for probably over a month, so you can take your time, Chocobo Expedition, farm out as many free shards for our boy as you can. I think he's worth it, though. Let's talk about him. So, TMR, I don't love it. It's not the worst. Its stats are a little bit low, especially for a cloth armor. It does have 2 agility on it. The buff is a single target buff that gives you regenerate and 25 single target resist if your regenerate is on. Not awful. Just, it's not nothing you're gonna pull for, but you don't have to pull for him anyway. Anyway, his master ability, he's gonna get the group buff. He has attack plus 25%. Okay, I like that. He gets 10 AoE resist, and he gets slash and pierce resistance with wall breaching attack skill upgraded. This man is all about slash resistance and pierce resistance. There are just so many ways to get those stats up for him. However, is that really impactful in today's game? I don't know, especially with slash resist. I feel like there's just a lot of slash resist pin out there, so it's not going to do the best thing for you. But here's some more of it if you want it. Determination of Steel. This gives him 12% HP and 12% more slash and pierce resist, stacking them up. If you want some magic and earth resist, you can get that there. If you want agility and move, you could get that here, and I think you'll pretty much run that one all the time. And then I also love accuracy defense pin. I really just love defense pin. You've got to have it in the modern game as a damage dealer. He has 40 of it right there. All of these are useful. All of his support abilities are good. You'll mix and match them if you're using him. Now, equivalent exchange. This is a counter move, 30% chance to proc, a 100% hit chance, striking counter. He also has magic guard to reduce magic damage by 45%, 20% of the time, and presence detection, which is a 20%, 30% all damage reduction. I prefer presence detection here, or the equivalent exchange counter punch, one of those two. Okay. His job, it's a brand new job, it's called Full Metal Alchemist, not a surprise. His cheap move is a strike resist debuff for 3 turns, 121% damage. He scales purely off of attack at 120%. His self buff, he gives himself a buff where he dispels all buffs, haste, physical damage up, and magic damage up for 3 turns. So if he hits somebody with this buff on, he will dispel them. That's cool. He also gives himself protect, and he gives himself AP restore 5%. So he has a little mini bells built in. You always like to see that. Okay, Stone Pillar Transmutation gets upgraded. This is a single target move that hits 2 targets and gives him a 30% defense pin buff, putting his defense pin at 70 with his passive if you're running that. Awesome, he's got his defense pin taken care of. 165% damage modifier, and it's 100% hit attack. So he's not going to have a problem hitting evasion units. And in fact, even though his evasion hitting move is single target, he can hit 2 in 1 turn. Sure could have used him in Guild Wars today. I might have crashed to an evasion team. Let's move on. Okay, Blessing of Truth. This is his best buff in my opinion because he can give 15 AoE resist to himself and his allies. Stacking AoE and single target resist is just the strongest way to avoid damage in the current form of this game. I've talked about how there's attack type penetrations out there. There's really not a lot of ways to get around AoE resistance and single target resistance. If you can stack those, you will find yourself a really hard team to kill. He can stack it for his group. It's one of the things that makes him such a good free unit. He has access to a piercing move, Alchemy Spear. He has a physical barrier breaking move right here that also has a 60% modifier if he has his bells on, his like self bells or any other bells, making it a 225% hitting move in a diamond shaped AoE. So a big AoE damage dealing move, especially if he has AP restore going. His Full Metal Alchemist sub job, he has an immobilize, disable, defense debuff move that's TP. And then he has another piercing move, Spellblade. When would you run Spellblade? You would run Spellblade if you wanted slashing, but it scales off of magic, so just forget about that. And then you also have magic resist spirit buff. You could run this to stack those two things, or more likely you'll get this magic shield. 70% magic shield is strong, right? That would have to get knocked off of him if mages were hoping to kill him. Okay, moving on. Strider. So why would you run Strider? Well, it gives you access to an attack spirit buff. It also gives you access to slashing moves that scale off attack. Okay, that's better. And it gives him access to a multi-hitting move. So if you're building up a brand new kind of multi-hit win chaining team and you need a new unit for it, he could be your guy, especially for newer players. Good multi-hit move right there. And then he has a defense debuff that's a striking damage move with his limit break. Now, debuff resistance is kind of all out there too, especially on tanks. Still, this is a free unit. This is a handout unit, and I think for a handout unit, he's pretty decent. If we look at his, let's go to the builder just real quick. I want to see what his agility is. So he's going to be a 67 agility unit. That's not slow. So he's not a slow boy either. You stack this resist, you stack this resist, you get some AoE resist, and you go do your thing. Okay, his brother Alphonse. So Alphonse is somebody we're going to have to pull for. He is a lightning tank. Seeker of Truth is his job. His master ability. He's got the group buff. He gets HP and defense. Yep, makes sense for a tank. He gets 15 single target resist. Okay, good. Like I was just talking about. This skill confuses me, but I believe this just means he does 15% more physical damage. The 200% chance, chat was talking about how that's probably just for, like, in case he has low faith, he will still get that 15% damage increase. I'm thinking that's what that is. At first I thought this was reflex, and I was like, whoa, this dude's busted. No, I think it's a damage increase for himself. Or it's a 200% chance to avoid physical 15% of the time, but I think it's just a buff. And then upgrade skill, Kaisu Yi Shan. So that's what he gets. His TMR, I don't love the stats on it. The buff is a 40% attack buff for your allies, and it gives them like lifesteal 20%. It's another one of those. We already have one in the game. That's useful if you want to run some like vampire style team. Kind of neat, kind of neat. Let's look at his skills. So his support abilities, he has defense and aggro up. If you're running him as a tank, this is obviously really useful. Then agility and luck is never a bad thing. Attack up with jump 1, situationally very useful on some maps. You can give debuff resistance 15 and AoE resist. If you're stacking AoE resist on him, don't sleep on how good of a support ability Holy Protection from a Knight is. You can get move and jump +1 if you want that, or you could get HP and slash attack resist pin from Knight. Again, Knight brings really good support abilities. That's like the strength of Knight. Okay, counter. You have a 20% chance to reduce all damage taken by 30%. Yes, so Luciano confirms it's a multiply damage thing. Poison Needle Return is the ninja one where you can counter poison. And then Sword Guard, I think, is what you're going to run most of the time. It's exactly the same as Acceptance. So pick one of those two. You have a 20% chance to reduce your damage by 30%. Pick one of those. They're the same. Next, his main job. What's that bring into the game? Well, his cheap move is a striking move, and you can see he scales also purely off of attack that will decrease critical evasion for the target and deals 121% damage. It hits in a square around him, so it's really short range. Now, his self buff. This is really good. This is really good, especially in combination with his AoE resist passive. 25% slash resist, 20 AoE resist for 3 turns. That's nice. Elemental chain resistance, 80. Don't sleep on that. Like, getting chained down, like, one of the strengths of these, like, quicken teams that are out there right now is, like, Sephiroth hits you, and then Sephiroth hits you again, but he's chaining you. This will at least get rid of the elemental chain part of that. And then he gets Dispel Protect for 3 turns when he hits. Something to consider about Al here is he's a tank, yes, but he's going to hurt when he hits you. He's going to hurt a lot. He gets another self buff right here. Gives him a 50% physical damage shield and 50 defense pin. Again, he's tanky and he hurts a lot. Okay, Stalagmites. He has access to a piercing move that also gives him defense and spirit for 1 turn. When I look at this, I think of it as like as sort of a sentinel, like what paladins have, but with damage attached to it. So that's kind of cool. He has a physical barrier breaker that's a striking move, hits a short range, small AoE. It decreases agility and attack for the target, and it upgrades to also being a counter attack off for 3 turns. Love that. that. And the attack debuff goes up to 60%. Real big nerf to whoever he's hitting right there. Kaisu Flash. This is his job level 25 move. It is a striking move, 100% hit chance, 165% modifier, dispels all debuffs from himself, and restores his own HP, so he can heal himself a little bit with this move. Okay, that's cool, I like that as well. His Seeker of Truth sub-job, Stun Grenade is on there, can blind and stun targets, and he has Double Strike if you need him for some like double punch chaining thing, probably not. You're more than likely not going to run Ninja Sub on him. You're probably going to run Knight to give him access to some like slashing moves with some debuffs attached to him maybe. I don't know. His Limit Break is a multi-hit move as well that it gives him 50% more attack, 200% damage modifier, striking, and will slow the target. More than likely, the Limit Break will slow the target. So that's good. He brings a slow. Look, he's going to be a really good character to stack single and AoE resist on. He's going to have a lot of like beefy tank stats going for him, and he's going to hurt. He's going to be a good lightning tank for people who want a lightning tank because maybe they don't have Charlotte, but they've been building up some other lightning units. At 64 agility, he's not terribly slow. He's got a lot of HP. Is he good? Yes. I would say the drawback of him is Earth is about to power up in a big way. But if you want to run him on like a striking team as your tank, look at this card, Believers in Brotherhood. Now, I don't know that this card's a must pull for everyone, but if you want to run a Rainbow Strike team, which was a popular team in JP for a while, this card is the way. So it's a defense, attack, HP card. It once again gives slash and pierce resist because it's got Edward on it and he just has to have that stuff, I guess. Then look at the group buff. It's agility, single target resist, strike attack. Very, very strong. This card is great for powering up your Rainbow Strike teams. It's also not bad for a lot of the elements, specifically like Earth. A lot of powerful, including 2 future Earth units, can use this, along with Yrel, Oberon, Eileen. Eileen, anybody? Yeah, I didn't think so. So Earth really likes this card. Wind, it's not terrible for Wind. Ice likes this card in some ways, especially some like cost limited ways. Fire, not really. Lightning loves this card. There's a lot of, whoop, get off there, Fire. There's a lot of good lightning units on here. Renan, Resnick, Alphonse. Still, I do think its best use is a mixed team like Perrine, a great striking unit, Light and Dark. Like, look, I'll put both of them on there. They hate this thing. But the strength of this card is definitely in its Rainbow Strike team unlocking potential. So if you want to do that, here's a card for you to go get. Okay, couple pieces of gear. Not a lot to say about this. Ed Silver Watch. Good accuracy version, also has a defense and spirit version. The buff for everybody is slash and pierce resist, not surprising, 8%. And then if you're Ed, you get AP consumption down, wind attack up, reaction block rate. It's a good piece of gear for Ed. You should farm one for him. I think it's kind of bad for most other units. Al's Chalk Case. So this is debuff resistance when your HP is above 70% for defense and spirit. It's a 15% HP increase for everybody. And then for Al, he gets 30% attack and 5 aggro. Okay, so some more initial aggro for Al. How he's going to tank, since he doesn't really generate more hate for himself, he has to run this piece of gear, in my opinion, and you have to have his passive ability on that generates hate. Otherwise, he's not really a tank, right? You got to have this piece of gear because that gives him 10. That gives him enough aggro. I guess I would consider him a tank at that point. He borders on it. He doesn't really generate his own hate that well. Unless, for example, like if we go back to him here, like we're just talking. So if you go back to him here, you can go down to, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's how he generates his aggro. So there you go. That's it. So it's this move right here. He gets 5 and then 5 more from his piece of gear. So you want him to be your tank. You need this. Again, otherwise not super impressed with this for a lot of other units. Now, 2 Warrior of Crystal units are getting their 140 upgrade and their master ability 2 this week. Setia and Renan. Previously in Global, we have this master ability for Setia. When she came out, this was top tier, right? Group buff, defense pin, little magic resist. Man, it was great. Since then, it's been a long time. She's fallen off. Now what does she get? Her defense pin staying the same. She gets 20% more magic resist. That's at 30 now. She gets 20 critical damage, which I love. She is now absolutely meant to be built as a critting unit. She gets AP Restore 5 when she crits permanently. So if she crits somebody, she's going to get 5 AP back. Combine that with initial AP 15, she's not really going to have the kind of AP problem she might have had before, potentially opening you up to like some TMRs that give a big accuracy buff. That's how I always had to run her before, but then I'd run out of AP. This will give me another little bit of damage turns with my accuracy buff if I have to run that on a TMR. She also picks up 20 more defense pin, putting her at 40, and her skill gets upgraded. Okay, let's look at that skill upgrade real quick. It's this one right here. It will now, this is her AoE diamond-shaped attack, right? It's one she uses all the time. Counterattack off 100, that stays the same, but now it decreases critical evade, again, helping her be a crit unit, and decreases critical rate for the target for 3 turns. 165% modifier stays the same, and it nerfs their healing power. Super strong move. And the strength of Setia lies in the fact that you get missile attack resist pin here. You can run like the diamond code on her, and now you have a defense pin, you got missile attack pin. You're looking pretty good. I still think you need to run range up on her. I think she's still going to die fairly easily, but she is now a modern day DPS unit. I like these upgrades a lot. Okay, Renan. What are you looking like, Renan? Well, right now, we have this Renan. He has 10 AoE resist, I like that, and activation time down, I like that, but none of those really help him do damage. What is he getting? All that stays the same, all his old stuff stays the same, but he's getting 10% more agility. Yes, good, he needed that. He's getting 20% more pierce resist, okay, and he's getting magic attack resist pin 15. I really like that. He's also picking up 20% more magic if you dream enhance him. He's getting 15 more AoE resist, putting him at 25 just from his master and dream abilities. And then sheet and sealing / reform is getting upgraded. Let's go look at that. So where are we at, Renan? Sheet and sealing. This now is a 2-target move. It breaks barriers, reduces counter chats, 200% modifier, just like it was before, but now this is a single target move that hits 2 targets. So you pick 2 targets, you break their barriers, you drop your bomb on them. That's really cool. Renan is meant to be this like hard to kill, high damage unit. I think he is that still. I think you will see some Renan Skahal something teams for a little bit. Remember, Earth is on the up. King Bradley's in like 4 or so weeks. Then there's other Earth units coming after him. Earth's time is coming. So if this is kind of your window for lightning maybe, while Skahal's still like God tier and Earth hasn't arrived yet, but we're in the collab where Earth is going to arrive. And it starts in the last weeks of this collab when King Bradley gets here. Okay, guys, that's the video. It's a long one today. There's a lot of stuff coming this week. Thank you for watching. Good luck on your polls if you're polling. I will be live on Wednesday. I'll do some polls. Remember, with a collaboration like this, though, it's long. It's long. If you're on the fence about whether you should pull this stuff at the beginning of the collab, wait. Just wait. We're going to get Mustang and Bradley over the next few weeks. Ed and Al are going to be here probably the whole time. So chill out. If you want to save your biz until then, do so. And just take advantage of maybe any good deals or something we get in the shops in the meantime. All right. Thank y'all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.